Halloween costumes that you can wear to work or school, or like if you're shy or something. Ha 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 ha! Hey everybody, it is Qcknd and I am jumping off with this year's Halloween content. There's just something about sink water that is really good. Anyway, this year I wanted to bring you some Halloween content. I love making Halloween videos. I celebrate Halloween in my private life. And it is something I have gotten into the spirit of every single year. I know that's cliche because all year all of us love Halloween, but I want to tell you that this is a very niche pocket. Although we all love Halloween, I've spent the last week asking people, you know, are you getting ready for Halloween? Are you decorating your house? Do you have your costume ready? And a lot of people said no. So just you and me, guys. Who knew that this was actually a niche pocket? This video I want to talk to you about Halloween costumes, and I wanted to create a video all about Halloween costumes that you can wear to work. So all of us have pretty unique jobs. I just wanted to create these costumes that are easy to wear to work because they kind of look like clothes. So in these costumes you kind of have to use maybe your imagination, but they're also really budget friendly, comfortable, and they have the ability to be reworn because they are just clothes. So when I say kind of like hot costumes you can wear to work, I imagine somebody who is like a barista without like a uniform, you know, something more casual like a server, or for me like in a service industry job where you don't have a uniform. So I've actually worn all these costumes to work to test them out for their mobility and how they stand up, and because I made this video, all the videos I make are real. These are not costumes that I had no intention on wearing. I'm actually wearing one of my costumes that I wore to work this week. As a YouTuber or somebody who celebrates Halloween, I end up with a ton of costumes. So I actually have worn this version of the Stranger Things wall and this long sleeve version. Wow. Available in long sleeve. If you want to see a tutorial on how I made this costume, not only is this a costume, additionally, bonus costume that you can wear to work, but it is something that I have made on this channel, so I can show you the tutorial. Making this costume was a ton of fun, and I still think it is timeless and cheaper than the duplicate costumes they are trying to sell at Party City. I see you, Party City. I was the first one.
I invented Stranger Things.
Other than the actual TV show. So I have this style just with like a little skirt, and then I have it like tucked kind of loose just to like show my own personal style, because I feel like the wall isn't a person, so you might as well just like be yourself in it. In my original video, I did have a more chunky version of the lights. This is a lot more subtle. These are like little Christmas lights I actually got from a Christmas party that I decided to keep because I think that they're really cute and special, and I knew that I would wear them for this costume. So this is definitely a dialed down version, but in my opinion a little more work appropriate because you're not bringing a ton of attention to yourself, and that's what makes these costumes work. But the right people know that it's a costume and they might be like, nice. So moving on, the first costume that I wore in like my series of costumes that I wore to work was a witch's costume. So the best thing about this witch's costume is I just used clothes I already had that I felt were like witchy, and they're not necessarily like strikingly goth clothing, but kind of like a campy or like a working witch. Like I think Kiki is one of our favorite witches, and I was also really inspired by like Inktober. A lot of people were doing like these comely witches, which I thought were really cool, so that's what I was inspired by. One of the best aspects of this costume is, one, if you start feeling nervous at work or your boss tells you that you can't wear a hat, you can always take the hat off and you're really just wearing kind of like a cargo girl style clothes. The other thing that was great about this costume is I found this hat at the dollar store. Hi, yes, I come here often. So what made this costume work for me is you can see that this costume is like, the hat sort of does that, which like isn't really like a cute hat, like a cute witch. I feel like it's the difference between like a witch and a wizard, you know what I mean? I actually just poked holes through the back part of this hat, put them in with bobby pins, almost like your graduation cap sort of thing almost. And I crossed the bobby pins in the back. A crossed bobby pin is always going to be stronger than a single one. So that's how I made this hat work at work. And I promise you, I wore it all day. But between this hat and these like booties, I really think that the whole witch look came together really, really well. And wearing it was fun and definitely like a part of the fantasy. And having just like this pointy hat all day just like really made sense. I felt really good about myself. So the next costume is left a little bit to interpretation. If you watched Stranger Things, or your friends watch Stranger Things, or you work somewhere that maybe like a coffee shop or something where somebody might walk in and like recognize your costume in the fandom, then this costume is really great for you. So I was kind of inspired by 11 in season 2, but almost like 11 in season 3, which doesn't exist yet. And hear me out. So the first part of this costume is the Hawkins middle school like AV Club shirt. And there are a lot of shirts kind of like this going around. Like I know Hot Topic has like a Hawkins middle school shirt with like the tiger on it, and I wanted to get a shirt that I could also continue to wear so it wasn't disposable like some Halloween costumes tend to be. If you didn't know, I keep all of my Halloween costumes around except for my 11 and my Dustin costume, which I actually donated. But other than that very specific thing, I do like to keep my costumes around. So I wanted to get like a soft shirt, but also this shirt plays well with like just like a vintage indie kids outfit anyway. So the idea behind this costume is like 11's gym uniform. So the idea of this is either like you are a Hawkins student or you can be 11, and I'll tell you how I made mine specifically 11. So the entire costume would be this shirt, and then I have some vintage like gym shorts that I got from like a vintage thrift store. And it doesn't matter, you could get Sophie shorts, but I wear these regardless, so you can see that the height of them is a little unique. And then obviously I have 11's iconic socks, which I got in American Apparel, but now since Stranger Things is so branded, you can get them at Target in like that Stranger Things section, or you can get them on Amazon. Amazon is where I got this t-shirt, and I will link that below. So the idea is that you are either a student from this middle school or you are 11. And I'll tell you how I turned it into 11. So I did get the 11 tattoo, and this is just an ink box tattoo, and they take 24 hours to develop, so this is still developing. So I just feel like it's a pretty subtle like nod to Stranger Things, but because, and here's all the plot holes, because each character that has
these special powers has their own numbered tattoo, you couldn't be like you couldn't be like 12 or 13 or 9, which I think would be really cool, but you could just give yourself whatever tattoo you wanted.
But the idea is that you are like a student at Hawkins, or you are 11, maybe in the 3rd season where she's maybe introduced to middle school and has hair and just wants to fit in and go to gym class, but also like has this tattoo as like a 10-year-old or something. And you can bring it all together, a leather jacket, flannel, to keep those 80s vibes going. And for footwear, I just used some high top Vans because I feel like they're iconic, but I also use them in my Dustin costume, so it kind of brings continuity to the character universe that I've created. So my next costume is a costume that I've always wanted. So it was kind of like a fantasy that I wanted to like indulge in, but also a really easy costume to wear to work, and then something I could turn into pajamas, which is all I've ever wanted, pajamas. And that is a skeleton bodysuit. So I got my skeleton bodysuit from Hot Topic, but after checking it out, there are more affordable versions of this bodysuit on Amazon, and you might get them faster if you can't go to a Hot Topic in real life. And what I really liked about this bodysuit is, one, I've always wanted one. Every year I'm like, damn, I want that, but obviously I can only wear it for Halloween. Like, I can't just like roll up to the spot in this. Although, like, in my mind, it's almost like gothic long johns. The way I pulled this costume together was, one, I really just wanted this bodysuit and I had to justify it because I know that I'm being something completely different than all this for Halloween. So I got this bodysuit to wear to work, but I wore it to work in just like the way I usually dress. So when I put this bodysuit on, the weird thing about it is you feel kind of naked, and it is because it's like form-fitting, but also there's just something about this that made me feel like it was all out there. So the way I neutralize this, and if you have a, like, I think my old boss, when I worked at a coffee shop, I think she would feel weird about this costume if I didn't like pull it all together the way I did. So the way I wore this to work, I put on a pleated skirt over top and then wore a longer sweater over top of it that was like a nice pumpkin kind of color. It's for fall. And this costume was kind of the biggest hit at work as well. Kaylin definitely thought it was inappropriate that I was dressed like a witch, but when I was dressed like a indie girl skeleton, she was like, all right. So you could probably choose to wear this with just like a long sweater. I recommend dressing up this like full-length skeleton costume in your own clothes to make it your own, but it has that twist that you're like a spooky bitch, but like still at work and it's chill. I think one of the nuances of this costume is making it seem like Halloween and not I always dress like this. If you're not worried about like creating that like difference, then go for it. But towards the end of the day, I'm wearing this for Halloween. Halloween costume, woo! If you're not worried about that, if you wear your skeleton playsuit all year, go ahead girl, you're spooky and shit. So that is all of my costumes. Definitely let me know what you guys think. And if you try out any of these costumes, please use the hashtag #QckndLookAtMyCostume because I definitely want to see what you guys are doing. I have a separate hashtag for my other costume that is my costume is better than Qcknd's. So if you think that you can like build on any of these costumes and make them better, definitely use that hashtag as well, but you'll see why that hashtag will be important in the next Halloween video. I love you guys so much. If you want to see any of my previous Halloween videos, I swear they're all relatively easy, so I will link them down below, as well as this costume. I love you guys so, so, so much. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys really get into the spirit of Halloween, like I have, and enjoy wearing these costumes to work or school or to bed. I love you guys so much. Until next time, bye.